Alright guys, how's it going? Sports Gaming Fever here, back once again with some Franchise Hockey Manager 6 with the New York Rangers rebuild. So we finished out the season. First thing you'll see is we actually got a trade for Nemesnikov, sending him to Carolina after only achieving 20 points in 79 games, and he wanted like 4.2 mil for 2 years. I really wasn't willing to do that. So I was going to let him slip to free agency, but we got an offer from Carolina and I adjusted it. So we're going to get 2 fourths, one this year and then in 2022, and then a 5th rounder in 2022 as well. So I think that's an okay deal. And I'll quickly just show you. As you can see, the San Jose Sharks have won the Stanley Cup finally. Finally, they've done it. So you can just take a quick look at the tree there. And Philadelphia made it to the final. So that bodes well for any of you Philadelphia fans out there. Alright, so let's see our stats. I actually took a look at this earlier. I started recording an episode, but it was taking way too long to sim, so I decided I'll restart so you don't have to sit through all that. Panarin with 66 and 79, 59 for Kreider, Bushnovich with 51, Zibanejad 49 points, but only in 62 games. Teravainen played 84, rare, but he played with Carolina, and we traded for him during the season. So he has 48 and 84. I'll quickly just scroll through this so you can take a look. Kaká with 42 and 80, so not bad for a rookie campaign, joining the 20-goal club. Adam Fox with 24 points and 78, so not bad there either. Hayek with 19 and 74. Yoki 16 in just 35 games, so that is looking good for him. A minus 27 ain't great, but we haven't had exactly the best team. So Kravtsov there, 14 points at 68, and he is a good prospect. So and Georgie up to a 2.5 star now. You can see his stats quickly there. 12, 12, and 3 is the record. Goals against average isn't great. Save percentage is okay. Hoping that will get boosted next season. All right, so we're going to continue on here. We're also not going to re-sign Fast because he did very poorly. No new contract for Nemesnikov, so he is going to be starting in free agency. So an awful trade for the Hurricanes, it turns out. Basically just gave us some picks for free. And I mean, we're losing Nemesnikov anyway. Was not going to re-sign him. Save some money. I believe we have about 11 mil in cap space, so we're definitely going to sign a decent free agent, or maybe a few. All right, folks, it is draft day. So where will we be picking here? We'll be picking 5th, and then 20th. So if we scroll through this, see some 4 stars available late. So that is swell. Sorry, taking a few sips of my coffee there. So yeah, not bad at all. Lafreniere would be great to get him, but it looks like Vegas will get him in much needed. But we could get Lundell, we could get Holtz, Raymond, depending on where they fall. I'd really like to get Holtz, but we will see how that goes. So yeah, pick until human. So Lundell is available. We also have Barron here. So you know what? Let's take a look at him. So offense ain't too great. Defense is pretty strong. Obviously, that'll increase quite a bit. Mental ratings pretty even. Aggression not so much, but and he's got great speed. especially for a 6'2", 187 pounder. That ain't bad at all. Let's look at his season stats here. Actually, let's go by career. Alright, 36 points in 66 games, a plus 15. Season prior, plus 42, with 41 points in 68. And then 21 points in 51 earlier in his career. And scouting, what's up with this? Barron isn't in it for the money. So that's great. Justin Barron is realistically a 7th defenseman at best in his current league. We don't have a player similar to Barron on our team right now. The weakest part of his game is his goal-scoring ability. Barron wears down a bit quicker than you'd like to see. The strongest part of his game is his playmaking ability. Barron's skating ability is a positive. Barron takes training seriously. Barron is in pretty good physical shape and doesn't wear down quickly. Barron isn't quite in the same class as Hayden Fleury. Barron would be a fringe player on most teams in our league. I'm wondering if that's talking about currently. Potential. Barron looks like he might turn out to be a little better than Yoki Haru is at this moment. Barron has the potential to become an outstanding player in our league, so that is good to hear. But I'd like to also look at Lundell here, who could become a 5-star. Ratings. Pretty decent offensively. He is a center/left winger. Defense, not that great. Mental, pretty average. Physical, pretty average across the board. But let's look at his career stats. Just 17 points in 34, 19, 38. I'm thinking we're going to go with the defenseman there. But let's see what scouting says. Nothing about Lundell's personality really stands out. Lundell should likely slot onto the 4th line in his current league. Stylistically, there isn't a guy who resembles Lundell on our team right now. The strongest part of his game is playmaking ability. He has decent on-ice vision and reads the play well most of the time. The weakest part of his game is his physical play. Lundell tends to get hurt a bit more than average. Lundell's overall skill level lags a bit behind that of Elias Anderson. Lundell would be a fringe player on most teams in our league currently. Lundell likely won't ever match Capo Calco in terms of overall skill. Lundell has the potential to become an outstanding player, though. And you know what? I think, I think that's the correct call. And he could get starting minutes in the AHL. I think we will sign him right away. But let's continue to pick until human. I am happy with that selection. Now, we have Chernov available, and I think we will be going with him just based on his potential. But if this will load, let me see if we're still recording. We are. Wow, it's taken a lot to get here. Okay, so 4.5 star. Let's look at his ratings. The 19-year-old. Okay ratings. Physical's pretty even. Not the greatest. But obviously he is a young player. And let's see what the scouting says. Chernov isn't in it for the money. Chernov doesn't really belong in the league he's currently in. Chernov game has a bit of resemblance that of Panarin. So that is good to see. And he can play on the right while Panarin plays on the left in the future, perhaps. The strongest part of his game is his skating. His skating ability stands out. Yeah, that's like, you don't need to repeat that. It's a bit redundant. Chernov has terrific hockey sense. He seems to know where his teammates are at all times. Chernov has above average stamina. The weakest part of his game is his physical play. Chernov is made out of glass. Sneeze near him and he'll be out day to day. So that is concerning. He can get better at that. Danny O'Regan is the worst forward on our team, but Chernov is even worse. Chernov would be a fringe player on most teams in our league. Chernov's potential might be high enough for him to surpass Panarin's current skill. Chernov has the potential to be an outstanding player, so I think we're going to go with him. The main concern I have with him is the statement that he is made out of glass. But I still think we will be selecting him. Yeah, I do think we're going to go with him. So pick Chernov. Alright, and then we will pick until human. So here we are in the second round, early second round. Mercer could be a good guy to pick up. Let's check out him. Another right winger with 4-star potential. Alrighty, we'll start with your ratings. Pretty even across the board. That's actually impressive. He's currently better than Chernov, who we just picked. Let's look at your career stats. 49 points in 54 games, 64 and 68, 26 and 61. So yeah, not bad at all offensively. We already looked at his ratings. Let's look at his scouting. Mercer's personality is fairly normal. No huge positives or negatives. Mercer is a fringe player. Right now, we don't really have any players whose game resembles Mercer's. The strongest part of his game is his skating. Again, redundant. For the second one, decent on ice vision and reads the play well. The weakest part of his game is his physical play. Mercer tends to get hurt a bit more than average. Mercer would be a fringe player on most teams in our league. Mercer has the potential to develop into a good player. So I'm liking that. I think we're okay on picking another defenseman since we took one in the with our earliest pick in Barron. I do want to look at Gunnier here as he is currently better. Yeah, he's got good ratings. And let's see his career stats. 28 games, 26. Oh, sorry, 5 points in 28 games. Man. He's a bit of a journeyman. He doesn't tend to make long-term plans to stay with the team. Opponents aren't fond of the chippy side of Gunnier's game. He's a fourth liner in his current league. We don't have a player like him. The strongest part of his game is his goal-scoring ability. Stats weren't that great last season. Gunnier is in a pretty good physical shape and doesn't wear down quickly. He has pretty good ability to read the play and has some hockey smarts. The weakest part of his game is his intangibles. Gunnier seems to be prone to injuries. Gunnier is not as good as Elias Anderson. He'd be a fringe player. Long-term outlook puts him around the current skill level of Panarin. Gunnier has the potential to be a top player in our league. So I'm going to trust our scouts with this one. Even though his stats weren't that great, I think we will go with him. Yeah, I think we will pick him. Yes. All right. Pick until human. All right, so I believe this is the third. Either third. Might be early fourth actually. At this point, I think we're okay at center. I think we're okay at right wing, and seeing as though I'm going to check out this goalie. It's nice to add some depth there. Potential backup of the future, and we have a huge surplus at goalie, but I think adding to that a bit and maybe having some trade bait later. Scouting is as difficult performing well under pressure as a third stringer at the league. In his league at the best overall skill level. His weaknesses are a serious liability. So I think we're actually going to skip on him. And you know what? Maybe he can play left wing. He's strictly a right winger. Center and left wing here. Is this the top potential? These guys are all A levels. I'm thinking we'll go with this guy actually. He's not loyal. Skating. Can read the play. Daniel Reagan is a better forward. Would be a fringe player. His potential to have an overall similar to Bushnovich. Has the potential to develop into a good player. But we will look at this guy. Tends to move around more than the average player. Doesn't get too attached to his teams. He's a fringe player in his league. The strongest part of his game is his playmaking ability, and he has a good ability to read the play. The weakest part of his game is physical play. He'll get injured a lot more often than you'd like. He'd be a fringe player in most leagues. He has the potential to develop into a good player. So I'm kind of on the fence here. I kind of want to look at Sopa real quick. Bushnovich develop into a good player. Good skating, reading play. Can't perform. This is tough. I want to see if this guy stands out to me at all. We haven't been looking at ratings, but I don't think they matter too much now. Defense not so great. So that is a concern. His weaknesses are serious liability. We have a lot of guys that are comparing to Bushnovich. I think I like Jelius the best. His overall ratings are pretty good. Not a great shooting range. He could be a good player in our league. Despite his proneness to injury, I think we're going to go with him. Pick until human. Alright, we got pick here. We haven't picked a left winger yet. And I'm liking the build of this guy. 6'2", 193 pounds. What are your ratings like? Defense not so great. Scouting. Pavel Buchnovich. He could be a good player. Good skating. He's not particularly good at anything. Poor man's Panarin, similar in style, but not as good. I think I'm okay with that. What was his points? 44 points and 64. I think I'm just going to pick him. I kind of want to move fast in these later rounds because, I don't know, finding a gem is pretty hard. 101 pick. A guy named Kuznetsov could be great. There's also this goalie, and like I was saying earlier, it'd be nice to add some depth, but looking at stats, I'm actually not too pleased. Looks like he was a backup last season. Oh man, computers really having to deal pretty rough with this simming of sorts, and even just selecting players. Pavel Buchnovich. Wow, that was awful. I mean, your name's Kuznetsov, so I think we're going to go with you. We're adding a lot of centers, but they can be switched to wing eventually. Pick until human. These guys are still up for grabs. What's your injury? This guy. 2-3 weeks. 33 points. This guy's a bit bigger. Kind of like the look of size. Passion Vubulit. Wow, why can't Bushnovich? I keep just like mumbling his name. Playmaking ability. Actually not liking him too much. This guy, 35 points? Or was that Pims? 35 points in 23 games. He's only played one season here that we can actually look at. Oh, I didn't mean to hit the arrow. I wanted to look at ratings. Very sporadic. Mental ratings are great. Determination, professionalism, and 20, but bravery, team player, leadership, and temperament aren't that great. So kind of a risky fellow here. Bit of a journeyman. He's way over his head on his present team. We don't have any players on it. Physical play is good. Practices harder than anyone. Has pretty good vision on the ice. The weakest part of his game is his skating. Seems to be extremely prone to injuries. To be a fringe player. Become a regular player. So actually, Raska was the guy that we were looking for, and they said he could be good. So I think we're actually going to go with Raska here. Though it would be interesting to see what he turns into. I think we're going to go with Raska. You know what? I think we're going to take a risk on this man. I really like the like difference in the mental ratings, and I'm just out of curiosity. I want to see how he does. 120th pick. Oh, we could still take Raska. Let's go. Let's take him. Oh, we have back-to-back picks here. I think we gotta take one of these 3 stars. On the surface, this guy seems okay. Yeah, pretty well rounded. Could be a good player. They're all just connected to Bushnovich, according to our scouts. So let's pick him. Pick until human. 129. I think, can we? Yeah, use draft list to finish round, I guess. Until someone really jumps out at me. I might let the CPU handle the rest of this, honestly. And see what we get out of it. You know, I think I'll just let the CPU finish the draft. So there you have it. That is our draft. And I think we will just review. Entry draft log, and can we go to the New York Rangers? First round, Chernov and Barron. So I think those are really the well, obviously the best picks. Wow, we had 5 fourth rounders. I didn't even realize that. We got a lot of picks. Jeez. Alright, well, I think we're actually going to end it here. If my computer can get by some of this. It's going really slow. I believe this was a longer video than usual. I haven't been really tracking the time. But I hope you enjoyed. In the next one, we will be taking care of signing some of our own players. To keep them around. Some of these rookies, perhaps. And we will also probably get through free agency, I'm thinking. Yeah, I'm thinking we'll do that. But anyway, guys, it's been fun. And I hope to see you in the next one. See you later.